Imagine visiting a place that, in your lifetime, could vanish beneath the waves. Welcome to Tangier Island, a tiny, remote community only reachable by boat or air. It's one of Virginia's most isolated islands, located near the border of Maryland on the eastern shore. Since 1850, the island has lost 2/3 of its land to erosion and rising waters, and scientists warn it may be gone in our lifetime. But the people here cling on, generations of watermen and their families, harvesting the sea, weathering time and the elements with grace and warmth. I spent the weekend exploring this little island with my friend Ceindy. We learned its history, cruised around on a golf cart, feasted on crabs, marveled at the wildlife, and took in everything Tangier had to offer us. In this video, I'll be taking you along on our weekend adventure, sharing some of the island's unique history, and then ending with some helpful travel notes for you to plan your own trip. So when you're ready, let's dive in. Tangier's story is layered. The Pocomoke fished here. Then John Smith of legendary Pocahontas fame spotted it in 1608, calling it the Russell Isles. By the late 1600s, Cornish families, Crockett's, Pruitt's, Thomases, and others, made it home. Their descendants are still here today, speaking in a dialect that seems frozen in Elizabethan time. During the War of 1812, the British built Fort Albion on what is now submerged land. The site later became a refuge for self-emancipated African Americans. Tangier has long been shaped by Methodism, introduced in the early 1800s. The island became known for its strict religious life, no alcohol, conservative values, and a strong sense of community. That deep faith continues to knit families together and gives the island its distinct rhythm. By the mid-19th century, Tangier had become a waterman's world. A waterman isn't just a fisherman. It's someone who makes a living directly from the bay, working its crabs, oysters, and fish through skill, grit, and season-by-season knowledge of the tides. By the late 1800s, Tangier was shipping millions of oysters each year, and later became famous as the soft-shell crab capital of the world. Even today, crab shanties line the harbor, where watermen tend to their catch before it's sent to markets up and down the coast. Yet the island is literally disappearing. 2/3 of it has been lost since 1850. Its highest point is only 4 feet above the bay. Environmental scientists warn that by 2037, this place we see now may not exist. And yet, when you observe Tangier's residents, there doesn't seem to be a sense of panic. They continue with their day-to-day, piloting skiffs, tending crabs, and chatting with tourists. This place is truly fascinating. I've been to castles and mountains that have been around for hundreds of years, where the only thing that changed was the people. But this place is different. Here, it's the land itself that's changing. What's here today won't be the same in 15 years. How many places on Earth exist like this? And that's exactly why I came. Not just to learn about Tangier's past, but to experience its present. To ride its little roads, taste its famous crabs, and share in the life that still thrives on this small, endangered island. Since I don't own my own private jet yet, I had to schlep it in with the rest of the common folk by ferry. I'll go over this in the travel notes section at the end of this video, but you can catch a ferry at different locations. I caught the one departing from Reedville, Virginia. It takes about an hour and a half to get to Tangier Island from there. It's a really comfortable ride, and the boat was much bigger than I thought it was going to be. They have bathrooms on board and a vending machine where you can buy snacks and drinks. Entering into Tangier, you pass by the crab shacks, where you later learn is where the crab processing happens. They're essentially the offices for the watermen. A lot of the Airbnb hosts will pick you up at the docks. If you're only there for a day trip, several locals and golf carts offer island tours for about $7. Our Airbnb host picked us up in his golf cart so we didn't have to lug our bags to the house, but honestly, it was such a short distance that we could have walked. After we got settled in, we hopped on the golf cart we rented to make our way to Muddy Toes Cafe for lunch. Alright, we made it to Tangier Island. My friend Ceindy's come with me because Kellen was being boring and didn't want to come, so we're on our way to go find some food. Ceindy went to get the golf cart. I'm about to explore the island. Alright. There are only about 3 places to eat on the entire island, and the cafe is great for sandwiches and coffee drinks. I got a chicken salad sandwich, and Ceindy got a pizza grilled cheese, which were both pretty decent. For all my foodies, you're not going to find anything fancy on this island, but that's not really the vibe here anyway. After fueling up, we headed down the street to the History Museum. You'll know you're there when you see the funky crab seats outside. Inside, you'll find a pretty comprehensive spread of Tangier history and artifacts. Exhibits show how the island has changed over the years, from British times through today. Many of the items on display were donated by local families. Quirky highlights include a crab the mayor caught in 2017 with 2 oysters fused to its eyes, and a mastodon tusk that a waterman pulled up while crabbing. There's also a short video that's a really great way to hear some of the local accents. Due to their isolation, Tangiermen have a distinctive accent often likened to Elizabethan Cornish. The linguists will argue that it has evolved into its own thing. It's truly a delight to hear. After the museum, we hopped back on the golf cart to keep exploring. The island is about 3 miles long and 1 mile wide, with the inhabited area being about a square mile. There's a surprising amount packed into that space. A fire station, a post office, a town hall, 2 churches, and a combined K-12 school. As you drive around, you'll notice abandoned homes sitting next to freshly painted ones, a striking mix of history and the determination to keep life going here. For dinner, we went to Lorraine's Seafood, where I was eager to try their crab cakes. I have to admit, I'm not crazy about blue crabs. They're a lot of work for just little meat, but you will never catch me saying that out loud while here on the East Coast. So instead of the traditional soft shell crab sandwich, I ordered their crab soup and a crab cake sandwich. The portions were generous and it was pretty good. Ceindy has an allergy to shellfish, so we were tempting fate by coming to a restaurant known for crabs, but thankfully they do have non-seafood items on the menu. After dinner, we had plans to do a sunset walk to the beach. The landscape as the sun was setting was stunning, with the marshes turning all shades of golden browns and oranges. The birds were out in full force as well. The only thing ruining the peaceful serenity was the occasional high-pitched humming of a golf cart passing by. I guess Saturday evening is the time for cruising. We almost made it to the beach, but then were stopped by flooding. When the tide rolls in, parts of the island seems to flood, including the area before the boardwalk to the beach. We saw standing pools of water in yards and along the roads, a subtle reminder of how close the bay is and how near the island is to being submerged. So sunset plans canceled, we headed back to our Airbnb for the night. The next morning, we got up super early as I wanted to take sunrise photos around the island. We headed over to the docks to try to watch the sunrise. However, the clouds had other plans. As we walked around, I immediately noticed how many more birds there were in the morning versus the evening. So that's something to note for all you birders out there. We made another loop of the island just to see it in different light. As you explore Tangier, one thing that stands out is how much pride people display in their values. You'll see plenty of Christian crosses and church signs, and just as many political flags and banners. It's all woven into the landscape here, expressions of identity that are just as much as part of this island as the crab shanties and the boats. And while the signs are everywhere, in our experience, no one ever brought it up in conversation. What we felt most was warmth and friendliness. That same sense of pride and community stretches across generations. Walk around and you'll notice something unusual. Many families have graveyards right in their front yards. On a shrinking island where land is precious, ancestors remain close, becoming part of the landscape of everyday life. Breakfast that morning was at Muddy Toes Cafe again, as it was the only place serving breakfast. You'll notice it's a lot quieter when the ferry crowds aren't in. I got a really delicious and super fluffy egg, bacon, and cheese biscuit, while Ceindy got the croissant sausage sandwich. Paired with an iced coffee, it was a perfect morning snack. We decided to try the beach again. The flooding from the evening before was gone, so we headed out and hung out at the beach for a bit. The water was incredibly calm. It was a little too cold for swimming, but perfect for a casual walk and hanging out. By this time, it was getting close to catching our ferry back to the mainland, so we headed back to the Airbnb to pack and tidy up. We made a pit stop at the last cafe on the island, Four Brothers Cafe, to grab some sandwiches for the ferry. They have pizzas and lots of ice cream flavors here. It's a popular hangout spot for both locals and visitors. And with that, we hopped back onto the Chesapeake breeze, back to Reedville, wrapping up our little weekend adventure to Tangier Island. Bye, Tangier. Ceindy says bye. And Ceindy's alive. I don't think we mentioned this. Ceindy has a shellfish allergy. And she made it. She's still here. Get a high five for that. Yeah. Alright, cool. It's a small island, like really small, but it leaves a really big impression. One that's equal parts beauty, resilience, and fragility. If you're thinking about planning your own trip to Tangier, stick around next for some travel notes. Alright guys, welcome to Travel Notes. This is the section of the video where I share some of the helpful tips that I learned from my trip in the hope that it helps you plan for yours. So first we'll go over where to stay. There are a handful of Airbnb options, as well as a hotel called the Brigadoon Inn, which is actually located outside of the main area on the public beach. Like I mentioned in the video, many of the Airbnb hosts will meet you at the dock and transport you in their golf carts, which is pretty handy if you're traveling with luggage. The one that we stayed at was called Island Oasis, and it was located right in the downtown area, pretty much in the center of all the activity. The hosts, Ted and Jen, were super friendly and always available if you had a question, but pretty much just let you go off and do your own thing. Their home is really comfortable. It has 3 bedrooms and a fully usable kitchen. But the best part is their dock, which you're free to use. They have kayaks available, a canoe, and crabbing pots if you actually want to catch your own blue crabs and then cook them back at the house. They also have an electronic golf cart available for you to rent, which Ceindy and I used for our trip. Alright, so let's talk getting to the island and then getting around. So unless you have your own airplane or a boat or know somebody who has those, you're probably going to take the ferry in like the rest of us. The ferries run seasonally, typically from spring to fall, and there's 3 different locations where you can catch one. You can do it from Reedville, from Crisfield, or from Ononcock. Again, make sure you check the schedules ahead of time because they don't run year-round. So actually, once you're on the island, it's pretty easy to get around. People either zip around on golf carts, there's bikes for you to rent, or you could just walk. It's really not that big. You could definitely walk around the whole island easily. It took us about 15, maybe 20 minutes to walk from our Airbnb, which was downtown, all the way to the public beach. All right, let's chat about food and drink. There are only a handful of restaurants on the island, and they're mostly casual spots. I mean, they'll serve crab, but you've got pizzas, sandwiches, ice cream, hamburgers, fish. If you're a foodie, keep your expectations simple. This place is more about homey, hearty food versus fine dining. So just be aware that Tangier is a dry island, which means that they don't sell any alcohol. However, you can bring your own. Just be aware, you won't be able to buy any while you're there. All right, so we'll just go over a few little practical tips. You definitely want to bring cash with you. Most of the places that we did go to did take credit card and debit card, but you do run the chance that you might need cash for some of the other places. I don't know, but they did mention that. So just make sure you have some cash on hand. Cell service can be spotty since it's pretty isolated, so if you need to download any maps, I don't think you're gonna need a map, but if you needed to, or some kind of information, I would download those ahead of time. Otherwise, the Airbnbs do have Wi-Fi and the cafe. I know Muddy Toes Cafe for sure had Wi-Fi, so you do have internet options. Oh, and bring some bug spray, like the strong kind. The mosquitoes are annoying and definitely were there when we went, but the thing that they warn you about are the horseflies. We didn't encounter any of the horseflies, but apparently they are really obnoxious in the summertime, especially on the beach. I was told they're really vicious, like they will bite little chunks out of you, and the only thing that they respond to is DEET. So if you are going in the summertime, bring your heavy duty bug spray. I want to talk about eco tours. So I didn't even know that they offered tours besides the golf cart tours, which will take you around the island. I was unaware that they had eco tours where you could go photograph wildlife. It's not widely advertised online. So when we got to the island, our Airbnb host told us about this guy named Cameron Evans who does offer different kinds of tours that you can take. I wish I did know about this ahead of time because I would totally have booked one. This guy, Cameron Evans, he's a local photographer whose website also showcases the different kinds of tours that he runs. You can see here that he has different kinds, such as the wildlife ones, but also like a really cool one where you could work as a waterman to experience the taste of their life. It's really worth looking into if you want more in-depth experience of Tangier's wildlife and environment. I'll put his link in the comments so you can directly book through there. Okay, and finally, if you guys are interested in learning a lot more about the island, like super in-depth about the history and the people and their culture, I would highly recommend this book that I read by Earl Swift called Chesapeake Requiem. He spent a year living on Tangier and has such a beautifully written account of his time there and the incredible history of the island. I'm actually going to listen to it again now that I've been so that I can kind of match up the places in the book with the places that I've been to. Alright, that wraps up this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and that you get a chance to go check out this island. And as always, if you guys enjoyed my video, I really hope you'll consider liking and subscribing. It really helps my channel grow. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious and keep exploring.